Angelo Rinchiuso is celebrating his 50th year of coaching. He is more than a coach to many people. He is a grandpa, a dad, a teammate, a friend, and a teacher. But in all of these, his coaching shines through. Get a better understanding of Coach Rinchiuso through interviews of some of his family, friends, and runners to get their insight on how he has impacted them and many others over the 50 years.
I always joke that there's two sides, and I always ask, am I talking to Coach or am I talking to Grandpa before I ask things? And I try to keep those two very separate. Sometimes it's a little hard, especially when he's calling me like his, affectionate names for me at practice and the team catches on. And I definitely get, not necessarily gripe, but teased by a lot of my teammates because, I'm the granddaughter and, it's just like a funny thing. So, but I try to keep those two as separate as I can, but it's kind of nice to be able to share something that I enjoy doing and he clearly enjoys doing. So just naturally and effortlessly. I got to spend a lot more time these last 2 years with him than I have probably in my whole life, so.
It was one of those things that being a coach and being a dad, they were the same thing to me. I never knew any different. I just thought a dad goes and coaches something every night, goes out and has a meet, It was one of those things. I was an annoying little crap because I complained every meet I had to go to, and they drug me to all of them. There's been many weekend I would be playing under the bleachers at a track meet with my G.I. Joes there all day. By the time I was standing, I was handing out popsicle sticks for cross-country runners. So it was just part of my existence. It was just, my dad was a coach. My coach was, he was just a coach dad.
Always associated him with coaching. As a matter of fact, that's probably how I ended up being a runner myself. I would always see him out with his runners, either running with them or timing them or whatever. And I just wanted to be kind of like one of the guys, one of the group. And so that, I think, really is what influenced me into eventually going into running when I got older.
He never came home and yelled and screamed. He never did. And I don't think he really yells and screams at the kids and grabs their, like some coaches you see. He's not a mean coach. He never has done it. So he never came home and yelled. He never come through the door and, do you know that so-and-so? No, he never did.
When I started running, for an actual team in elementary school, we did the 1 mile around Fairview Park, and he'd get on his bike and ride it along the street and yell out my splits at me. I don't think he was technically allowed to do that, but since, he was doing it on the path and not on the course, they couldn't really do anything. So, and, beforehand, he'd always just kind of pick apart the little things, make sure you keep your knees up, make sure you open your hands, keep your shoulders back. It's just, he could really never implement it until I started running for him. So, but I think I have definitely seen an improvement, even if he's always kind of been coach.
Oh yeah, we were, both my sister and I were just mascots when we were younger. I really looked up to a lot of these guys because I just thought they were cool. When you're 8, 10 years old, you think these guys are cool. One of the kids I grew up with, his name was Jim. He had a giant mullet, luscious, early 90s curly mullet. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I started growing one. So for most of my 4th grade and 5th grade year, just had an awful rat tail mullet kind of thing. It was because of that. But they would always give me high fives. They would ask how I was doing. There's a lot of times that one of them would come over for dinner because my dad was always one of those that would just, if someone needed something, they'd come over. If they're, for whatever reason, they didn't have food at their house, hey, come on over. You can have some food over here. So I got to know a lot like that. A lot of them were like older cousins and everything like that.
The kids were always welcomed by the team, they knew. And of course I so I made them all little QHS tops and I made Reagan a little skirt and Ryan, and stuff. So they went to the meets, and they knew the kids knew them and stuff. And Yeah, Reagan went to her first meet probably when she was 3 months old. And Ryan was born right in the middle of track season.
27:30. Alexa put it out there today, 30:57.
From my point of view, he saved a couple of people. And it was, you know, you see these guys, some of the guys, and you think, oh my gosh, because they come from, you know, not the best situations. Yeah, and there's many times when we wish we could have taken them, and you know, but then we looked into that, and you can't do that because IHSA or something. But anyway, you know, we had some people in the basement a couple of nights and stuff. So, and a lot of runners will come back and say, you kept me from going on the wrong side.
I've known Coach Rinchiuso probably close to 30 years. I coach at Johns Hill Middle School. I coach with the Staley Striders. I'm the head coach of that program for all of their programs. And so I've been involved with him in multiple ways over the last 30-some years. And
keep it up, boys!
Lily's doing it now, so I get to see him as a coach from the dad's perspective. And I always knew he was a great coach. I mean, he's won all these Hall of Fame awards. And again, it's one of those things, just when you grow up with it, you just assume, yeah, he's a good coach. He's got all these awards, he's done this, he's done that. It wasn't until I was a parent and going to him, talking to a coach as a parent, that I saw really how good he was. Because early the freshman year of my daughter's running, we're just coming out of COVID. You know, there was a lot of stuff. She was in her head, you know, the emotions of COVID and everything just wasn't running that good. And I asked my dad, I said, I'm worried about her. I'm worried that, you know, she's going to get frustrated. I'm worried that this is going to just get more in her head. And like, I just was like talking to him, and I was talking to him as, you know, a guy worried about his dad to his dad. You know, he talked to me as a coach, and he said, we'll get her. Don't worry about it. And the conviction in his voice, there was no, this is just what they want to hear. He 100% believed it. He knew what he was doing. And it was at that time that I'm like, he is a damn good coach. He knows what he's doing. He wasn't even talking to me as his kid. He was talking to me as he would talk to any parent. And he told me what he was going to do. And she had a great year. She improved so much that year. She improved the next year because he had a plan. He knew what was going on.
As a coach, he was very supportive of my daughters and very encouraging of working with them and you know, things that they you know, that thought, I mean, you know, because again, they were distance runners. So I mean, on the college level, Mandy pretty much her expertise was the 10K. Lisa and Lori, most of the time, sometimes 10K, but most of the times it was the 5K out on the, you know, and you know, running that on the track is not always fun, you know, and so no, he was a very good coach when it came to coaching my daughters.
Did, and like, I was just amazed looking at it from that way, that because like I said, everybody always thinks their dad's superhuman. That's just the way it is. I always thought my dad was the best. He's great, you know, everything like that. But actually, being on that other side, having my own kid who I was worried about, and him talking to me and saying she'll be fine, he just made me feel so much better. And like I said, I totally see, not even as a kid looking at his dad, just a regular parent looking at a coach, why he's in the Hall of Fame in like 4 different things.
Level. But I knew him when he coached at Millikan too. My daughters ran for him at Millikan when he was the distance coach for Millikan. And there were times that when my youngest, Lisa and Lori, when they were seniors, there were times that Angelo and I would travel to meets in the Chicago area together. For one reason or another, you know, he couldn't leave until about the same time I was leaving. And we had a great time because then we would also do supper together, and you know, we'd talk our arms and legs off about running as we drove up there and we drove back, and it was that was a great fall, you know, getting to share that time with him.
Congratulations for having such a long and storied career. Everybody comes to you because they know you know what you're doing, and it's evident in all the successful, not only athletes, but in successful, happy, well-adjusted, and just grateful athletes that you've had. So many people that you've coached 30, 40 years ago still reach out and seek you out at races, and I think that is definitely something that is a testament to what you mean to them.
Thank you, Grandpa. Congratulations on 50 years. You're old.
Can't believe you've been doing this for 50 years. Like I said, it's been part of my life the whole time. I'm glad that you've done it. You are just an inspiration to me. You know, when I was younger, I always I'm not going to do track. I'm never going to another cross-country meet. I don't want to be a teacher. I'm doing the same things he did, you know, and there's no better influence on me. A lot of times in my class, I'll be like, what would my dad do? And I'll try to do that. 50 years is a long time. You know, I'm glad he's gotten to do something he loves for 50 years. I'm glad he's been with his family he loves for 50 years. And I hope we're doing one of these videos with your kid in 25 years talking about his 75th year doing it. You know, nothing would make me happier than that. Because like I said, this is just a part of him. And it's a part that makes him happy. He comes home, he's happy. For years, he'd always tell me, oh, this kid ran this. And I would just nod politely and try to figure out if it was a good amount of time or a bad amount of time. Because I would just be very vague and be like, oh, how'd you feel about that? Oh, I was so excited. Yeah, me, that's great that he did that. Or he could do a lot better. Yeah, you know, that was kind of slow. But it just brings him so much happy. And I'm glad he's made it to 50 years. I love you very much, Dad. I'm glad that you're a good influence on me. You're my inspiration. And like I said, I hope to do one of these for 75 years.
Well, Angelo, thank you. Congratulations for 50 years. I have a hard time believing that, but then when I think about it, I'm like, yep, that's got to be true. So anyway, thank you, and you deserve all the attention you're getting with this.